I'm Dr. Kemiolun Lawyer, and it's the 14th of April, 2025. Let's talk about my father's PA. Korede Asuni was my father's longtime PA. Kemi Talks Life is a series I'm doing about my life, and there's different sections. And I felt that I've finished talking about my dad. It can be a lot of stories to tell. My father did many, many bad things, but through the nature of Nigerians, forgive, forget, many of them were even more traumatic. If my siblings start talking, there wouldn't be fun. If my children start talking, there wouldn't be fun. So here it is. It's called Let Sleeping Dogs Lie. If you don't want sleeping dogs to lie, you're going to get into trouble, and I'm going to open your nyash. Always remember that I am an investigative journalist. First, my father's spokesperson is now coming out abusing everybody like he knows us. Someone I've met once, Dakwo Gunwusi, the last post. Look at that post very well. How can you be talking about someone like that? On my father's 90th birthday, you're calling me Ole. Like I said, I'm not coming to my father's funeral. You read it online, and now you have to call me Ole, that I'm coming to steal money or food in my own house. I mean, where did we go wrong here? These are the kind of people my father brought into the house. Let's talk about Korede Asuni, okay? Because they don't like this publicity, and they're causing it for themselves. My platforms are way too big. Okay, millions and millions, 56 million views on Facebook alone. If you don't want me to expose you or introduce you to the world, leave me alone and let me heal. Okay? So Dakwa Gunwusi is posting all this nasty stuff, and Korede goes there. They're all in the same groups. Korede used to be my father's PA for a long time. In 2006, as you can see, he wrote here, I don't know why some people should be giving Kemi attention. I remember the day I had to flog her when she assaulted her father. I don't know what she means by assaulted her father. You were violent. He cannot write proper English. Let's just correct it for him. You were violent, and her father had to be under police and OPC protection. They saw you as untouchable, and I had to put some sense into Kemi that day. You are only to be seen and not to be heard. Okay? You listen to that very carefully. I'm only to be seen and not to be heard. They forgot about my voice on social media. You see what I've been telling you in this series? These are the people. You that can't take care of your father, who spent millions to educate you. Why should I take care of my father? Does he not have a wife? Did he not chase us out of the house? Did he not kidnap me? That's what Ronke is for. I ignored them all that time. They say, oh, he's sick, he's sick. What am I supposed to do? Run to Ibadan? I stayed on my own lane. Well, I replied, Korede, correction. We fought and beat each other up. Then you came begging me later. He apologized. I am untouchable. Nobody changed my autistic son during a mental episode. My autistic son was having an episode, and they didn't know much about autism, but instead of asking me, they took my son, pushed him to the ground, on orders of my dad, and changed this boy. They changed his hand and leg, and I appeared. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Okay, nobody changed my son during a mental episode, and that's why I slapped you in 2006. I haven't seen Korede since probably 2008 and 2007 when I went to Canada. I slapped him, he slapped me bad, and I punched him. It was a fight. And then he said, thief, did you not steal 5,000 pounds out of my father's 20,000 pounds in the plane to London when he was going to get medical treatment? Okay, I didn't want to say everything, but I'm going to go to it now. Because if you want to open your nyash or you want sleeping dogs not to lie, I'll tell the world. Was it not my mom, Funke, and I that changed that money and counted it carefully, packing it? And I did that double count. Unfortunately, he didn't spend millions to educate me. He already said that on my life space, that he didn't send me to America, only to the UK for HSC. If you guys don't know this, I went to America on a very, very top scholarship to the College of Pharmacy. And then when I graduated, my salary was $50K a year. $50,000 I used to send myself to PR school and then later journalism school. So all this stuff about your father sent you, I've clarified that. Thank God I invited my dad to my life. But at the end of the day, this is the nonsense they think. You know what I mean? It didn't send me to America. So I paid my own education in America. PAOLE, thief, started accusing my mom of stealing the money, okay, that we carefully counted. Continue opening your yasho. I will spread it for the world to see. You see these people here? They all work for Ronke. I did Ronke, my dad's second wife. They all work for Ronke. What they did was My father had prostate problems. Okay, he has prostate cancer. Okay, if they do an autopsy for my dad now, more than likely they'll say he died of prostate cancer and old age. There was a time when my father was literally urinating blood. Every day, blood urination. You know how disgusting that is? Okay, so there was no driver. It was a Sunday morning, and I had to drive. They've never let me drive that car. I had to be the one that drove my father in that black Jeep, and there was environmental. I think it was a Saturday morning. Environmental, something that you can't drive before 10 a.m. We drove all the way to the hospital from Molete to almost Bodija. And if you know that direction, like all the sanitary workers, they recognized the Jeep and they were all waving, to Baba in the car because they didn't know what was going on. I literally ran it like an ambulance that morning. There was no car on the roads. Now, on that note, this whole prostate thing got worse. And they had to give my father an ESTA code. I hope you know what that means. The money to go for abroad treatment that politicians have entitlement to. So Ajimobi was giving my father this 10 million naira ESTA code. Now, guys, remember that when you're talking about, I need to say it the right way. When you're talking about ESTA code, we're talking about now 2006-7. 10 million was a lot of money. Okay? And so this is what happened. The 5 million was given to us, and we took it to Garuba, our bookie that changes dollars and pounds and all that. Garuba got the money in naira and brought it to the house in cash, and we kept it somewhere safe. The other 5 million, my sister, who worked for Ajimobi, was supposed to have picked it up. Funke, she went and picked it up. Came back in the middle of the night, very late at night, and changed it, same thing with Garuba. So we now have a total of 20,000 pounds. My mother took this money, and if you know British money, the highest is 50 and it's pink. My mother took this money and lined it up in a suitcase. Like, you know how the drug dealers and cocaine dealers will line money in their suitcases? That's how she counted it. Then when she packed all my dad's clothes, everything, hand luggage, suitcase, she called me into that room to count this money again. And I counted 20,000 pounds. And then we put it in there and we locked the suitcase, we locked the briefcase, everything was ready. And my dad was taken to Murid Salam Mohammed. Korede and my dad and the driver. They went in the plane, they checked in and everything. For some reason, when they landed, the money was missing 5,000 pounds. So who stole it? Somebody in the plane? Who had the keys? Korede was the one that went there and took the money while my father was sleeping during the flight. He's a thief. Okay? Korede o ti kó bá rẹ̀, ó lọ gbé mi síbi tí ó kàn ẹ́. Ó lọ sórí page Ògúnwùsì, ibi tí ó kàn ẹ́ ló lọ. Gbogbo yín láṣìírí yín máa tú, gbogbo yín pátápátá láṣìírí yín máa tú. Ẹ̀yin lè dálé Olúlọ́yọ̀ rú. Mi ò tíì ṣetán pẹ̀lú yín, mo kàn tẹ́ ní kí n cool down ni. Pé kí n gbàgbé Kemi Talks Live section ti died nítorí birthday, kí n communicate, kí n máa ṣe that pass. Gbogbo yín ni máa táṣìírí. You better stop antagonizing me. I'm just letting you all know. Nigerians that are listening to me, all my fans, these are the people that worked for my father, and they're like all criminals. Dakwa Ogunwusi was the editor of the Nigerian Tribune. This guy had a good reputation until he started taking money from my dad. My dad will write articles that are so bad and yap another politician, and those people will think it's the Tribune journalists that are writing it. And they were untouchable because they work for the Tribune. That's our lowest newspaper. They can't come into the Tribune and arrest a journalist for defamation. They always go for people like us, independent journalists that are telling the truth. So they were all covered in there. I don't know what I did to Ogunwusi, but Ogunwusi is like writing all this nonsense about me, calling me a thief, coming to eat at my own king. He actually thinks I'm going to Nigeria. She don't tell me no my joke with Nigeria. I'm olori buruku olushi. And I'm sure they killed that man. For all I care. This is Korede Asuni. Look at him. Big fat idiot. That's his child and his wife. I don't know why I cut their faces off. I should have shown you everybody. Stop antagonizing me. Okay? Efimileo. Because we're going to my trash. File daddy bogon. Moko shorting any. I'm Dr. Kemi. Oh yeah, one more thing. We never recovered that 5,000 pounds that was missing in the 20,000. I don't know how they ended it, but my dad said my mom was the one that stole it. That was the very same year that he was going to move into Ronke's house, and they separated in it was 2015. This one was 2015. The slapping one was 2006. But at the end of the day, this is what we lived with.